Hey guys, we've got another WOD preparation video for you again today for Tuesday's workout this week night. It's a 35-minute EMOM for the workout today, so 7 rounds through what's on the board there. You've got 5 exercises per round, and you've got a couple of lower body exercises, a couple of upper body exercises, and then a bit of core action at the end of that. So it's split up quite nicely in there. Should find the pace of this fairly steady. There's nothing in there that's going to be really intense. And I would say in terms of choosing scaling options, in terms of what's going to be appropriate, I would say that you want to be able to get all that done by 45 seconds each time. And if you get to 45 seconds and you're still working on any of them, I would probably just cut that off and then move on to the next bit, just so you are getting a little bit of rest in there each time. So you've got 8 to 12 jumps in the first minute. They could be broad jumps, jumping forwards. They could be vertical jumps if you don't have the space for that. Or if you've got a box or something stable to jump onto, you could jump onto the box as well. So you've got options for that, but basically we want it to be an explosive lower body jump. The second minute, you've got 5 to 8 single arm rows on each arm. So you've got to do 5 to 8 on both sides. Once you've done that, you've then got 10 to 16 step ups. That's your total reps, so you could think of that as 5 to 8 on each side. They could be weighted if you want, or you could try and get through them really quickly without weight. And if you do weight them, you've got options where you want to hold that as well. The fourth minute, again, we're back to 5 to 8 each side. You can either do a single arm strict press or push press. I'll show you the difference between them. Remember, those reps are on each arm, so again, you can think of that as 10 to 16 in total if you want. The last section, you've got 30-second holds. That can either be a front leaning rest or a hollow hold. I would choose something that you know you can do well, but it's still going to be challenging. We don't want it to be easy necessarily. And we're aiming to get 30-second hold unbroken across every round. So the scaling option you choose will be important for that. In terms of the sort of techniques and the exercises that we're looking for in there, I mentioned the different variations on the jump. So you could jump forwards and do a broad jump, so you can start from here and jump forwards. If you didn't have really space for that, you could just do a vertical jump up and down, or if you have a box or something similar, obviously you've got to make sure it's something fairly stable to jump onto, and you could do a box jump as well. Whatever you fancy in there, we just want to be an explosive lower body exercise. The single arm rows, I would set up in a split leg position, like this. So say if I'm using my left arm, I'm holding the weight on one side, I'm trying to pull back and squeeze my shoulder back into its place at the top. And I've got that split stance, just to give me a little bit more stability within that. For your step ups, I mentioned before, if you have something to step onto for these, we're going to keep your front foot on the whole time. Again, these can be weighted or unweighted, although I'd say for most of you, especially if the step is not very high, you probably could get a little bit of weight into these. And that weight could be held anywhere. So it could be here, it could be you hold the weight by your side, it could be a single arm front rep position, it could be weight above your head. I'll show you like this, so we're just keeping the front foot box. Driving through the front foot, we'll keep the front foot on the box throughout. And just a reminder that we're looking to drive through the front leg. So we don't want to be pushing off your bottom leg, we want to make it a single leg exercise as much as we can. So much of the work as possible is being done through the leg that's on the box. And you've then got the single arm presses or push presses, so the press would be just the upper body moves, whereas the push press, you have the little dip and up to overhead. They're obviously very similar, and in terms of working out, should I use one or should I use the other, I would say if you've got a weight that's fairly light for you, I would do a strict press where you don't use your legs. If you've got something that's a little bit heavier, I would do the push presses and try and get a bit of power in there, just to make them slightly easier. But you do have that range of reps to work in as well with them. With the front leaning rest on the hollow hold, your options there, so your front leaning rest would be you set up like this, so your top of your press up position. If you want to try and scale up and make it harder, we could try and put more weight through the hands, like that. And essentially, the further forward your weight is on them, the harder you're going to find them. So you've got scaling options within that. If you're looking for a hollow hold, your full position is going to be you set up nice and long like this, tucked into that hollow position, and we've got your abs tucked down, so I'm not opening up through my back like that. I'm trying to tuck and hold that tuck position where I've got my abs closed down. In terms of scaling that up or down, that's probably the hardest variation you could look at there, although you could bring the position further and further up, but you could also play around with the position of the arms and the legs. So I could try hollow hold where I've got my legs tucked and my arms up, or I could bring the arms by my side as well if I want to. So you've got options for playing around with that one too, but again, we want something where you're able to do a good quality 30 seconds. Yes, it's going to be challenging, but a good quality position for the whole time. In terms of the warm-up I've got planned, it's just on there if you want to take a screenshot of that. So you've got a couple of sections there, you've got some lower body exercises, some upper body exercises, and then the last part is essentially just running through what's in the workout. So to start with, you'll do your air squats, so just up and down, no weight, just to get the legs going, and your reverse lunges is just stepping back into your lunge, like that. So you go through a couple of rounds of them. You then got the shoulder taps and the reverse flies. Your shoulder taps are going to be set up like this, hand to opposite shoulder, like that. And then you'll come up and the reverse flies will be you in a bent over position, bringing the arms up by the side from there, just to try and warm your shoulders up a little bit. And then the final part, you've got jumps, step-ups, holds, rows, press. So you're going through the exercises that are in here. Ideally doing the variations that you're planning on doing, so using the height of box you're going to step onto, using your working weights so you can see how they feel. And that will mean that then, within these ranges of reps, you should hopefully know going into the first round how many reps you're aiming to do. So that's that last part there where you're just going through sort of almost around, slightly different order, but almost around in there, just to make sure that you're not going in blind into that first round. But I'd say with a workout like this, try and set some targets, maybe set some targets for how many reps you're going to try and do each time, or in terms of maybe the quality of the reps, and try and stick with that as you go through. It's not really fast, really high paced. It's a bit more slow and strength oriented, so we want to have something to work towards to try and make it as productive as possible. Again, as normal with these videos, like if you've got anything you want more specific help on with these in terms of like your scaling options, or you know how you can work it with the space you've got at home, then just drop me or one of the other coaches a message and hopefully we can give you some more specific feedback. But all being well, I'll see you next week.